I was till I put on the mask.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
It would be extremely painful.
Nobody
What's
cares.
going on, guys? It's your boy TMI. I am the Masked Investor. Thank you guys very much for tuning in right now. Here is your quick after hours market update on AMC and ticker symbol AMC, as well as GME, who came out with some absolutely crazy news at the end of the week. GME came out with some news this week that kind of shocked the marketing world. Here you guys go. Take a little look at this. GameStop shares surged in extended trading Thursday after the company said it planned to implement a stock split. The video game retailer said it will seek stockholder approval at its next shareholder meeting for an increase in the number of Class A common stock from 300 million to 1 billion to partly conduct a stock split in the form of a stock dividend. Shares of the meme stock, according from CNBC, shares of the meme stocks jumped up 70% after hours trading on Thursday. And as you guys can see, GME is currently up 15.56. AMC is currently up 4.91, simply off of the sympathy play. Now, let's get into what the hell just happened. Of course, I am recording this live and giving everyone a little insight to how these videos are actually shot. But besides that, guys, let's get into what the fuck happened today in the market, because it was not a pretty day by any means. As you guys know, AMC has gone up and had a huge run up here from 13 point, we're going to say 13 points, keep it easy, but it's actually 12.93. But anyways, $13 all the way up to $34.50, where we saw over a 150% run. But over the last little while, we have seen a little bit of decrease here. Switching to the 5-minute chart so you guys can pull back a little bit here, okay? Take a look at this. After we punched the shorts in the mouth with that 44% rip, we had a little consolidation day, and then we had a backup day. It wasn't necessarily the most bullish thing, and you guys kind of got a little bit, a little bit shilly in the comments. I understand you guys got a little bit down. Your call premium started to diminish. You started losing a little bit of money because you made YOLOs. That we said don't make YOLOs. We said a little bit out the money, a month out. But hey, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. No judgment. It is what it is. Let's keep it going though. AMC today saw a huge dip, but I liked what I saw at the end of the day, because unlike yesterday when the IWM sold off and the SPY sold off, AMC kind of went with it. Today, when the IWM sold off and SPY sold off, AMC as well as GME started moving in the opposite direction, which was very good. And on top of that, we are looking a little bit more positive in the after hours. AMC is moving just as a simply play, just because of the strength off of GME's notice. Now, take this in for a second. The reason why this whole thing started, in my personal opinion, is because GameStop had Ryan Cohen go out and buy 100,000 shares of GME just 2 weeks ago. Now, when this happened, GameStop went on a little bit of a run, which unlocked AMC to go on an even larger run, which then unlocked GameStop to have an even larger run, and they were just playing tic-tac-toe off each other. The original catalyst for AMC was nothing. It was simply the fact that GME ran.
So this is all based on nothing.
Technical breakout for AMC unlocked. It ran up, it came back down, tested support, and then took off. Now, the funny thing is this. Ryan Cohen bought 100,000 shares. Based off the stock split, he might have actually bought 300,000 shares. Or who the fuck knows, 500,000 shares. We don't really know exactly how this is going to work out, but I am looking for a few things here. One, the actual
You don't know because you didn't look at the fucking documentation on it.
June 9th,
Jesus.
What I just saw off of the SEC filings, as well as the actual vote to be taken into place. They have to count the votes up. Everyone's probably going to vote yes. It's going to be retail investor heavy. And then we're going to see what happens there. I don't know exactly when it's going to be executed after the shareholder meeting. But up until this point, we were having a very bullish breakout. The little halt bullshit that happened just a few days ago did kind of have people feeling a little bit, like we got cheated. But this was a big fuck you. And if I actually think about the tweets that Ryan Cohen had today, this guy was on one, He was tweeting. He tweeted 3 times this morning, and somebody actually came in the live chat and said, TMI, what's up with Ryan Cohen tweeting 3 times in the last 10 minutes? I said, I don't know. He tweeted once about who's more, who's worse, I think hedge funds or overpaid consultants. He tweeted again saying I was born to work, and he had another tweet. I don't even know what the third one was, but he was already on one. So it's good to see that it's not just the fact that he can talk the talk, but the fact that he can walk the walk. Something very similar to what we saw with AMC. They ended up putting out a huge investment of $22 million into HYMC. People started talking shit.
Wow.
Wall Street started saying it was a bad investment. Next thing you know, AMC ended up making $70 million off that $22 million
AMC ended up making $70.
I think that when it comes down to these, how should I say this? Not just interesting, not just intelligent, but
dumbass
CEOs they're built different. They're cut from a different cloth, all right? And I think that they are, the ones that are probably meant to leave people kind of like apes. Those people who are also built different, cut from different cloth. Individual wolves, not necessarily sheep. Individual thinkers do their own DD and came to the same conclusion that the shorts are fucked. Now, when did the shorts get fucked? Great question. How did the shorts get fucked? Better question. I don't have these answers. I honestly don't. And I don't really care to speculate on them, but I do want to wait for an announcement, a video, more interviews, more conversations with the GME crew to figure out exactly how this will get executed, when this will get executed, if and when the shareholders do vote for this to go down. A little quick wrap up here, guys. For AMC, the short data that we are looking at here, take a look at this. The current short interest is 20.32%. The cost to borrow is 6.91. I'm going to give you guys a quick refresh just to make sure nothing here has changed. Nothing here has changed. The overall shares borrowed today, net 500,000 less than the return shares. The overall utilization is at 100% as it has been for the last few weeks here. Let's just take a look at this. No real shifts here for GameStop, guys. No real shifts here either. A quick refresh to make sure nothing else has changed. Still 947,000 shares borrowed, which is great. Now, in between an hour before the market closed and now, there was a difference of around 100,000 to 50,000 shares borrowed. So I feel like even in the after hours, there was probably some shares borrowed. And if I look at the stock price, guys, the stock was moving after hours. I would probably borrow some shares too, right? Now, AMC's come back down a little bit. It's only at 4.5%, but the news wasn't really with AMC. I think that if GameStop ends up holding this or turning very bullish and gapping up in the morning, you'll see AMC right there beside them, okay? This is a very bullish thing for retail, and as opposed to what we've seen in the past where we just say moon soon, moon soon, moon soon, if I am looking at call options, I am looking at call options that are just out of the money a month out. Nothing has changed between now, nothing has changed between last week, nothing has changed in the last 5 videos. The same thing, guys. Just out the money a month out. Yes, you can buy more contracts if you buy them next week. Yes, you can buy more contracts if you buy them way out the money. I'm talking about simply trying to make the best play for myself, okay? This means if things go wrong, I'll be okay. If things go right, I'll be laughing, okay? Now, the last thing here, guys, for those of you guys who tuned into the live stream this morning, you guys might remember that I did say, take a look at this. I did say, I wasn't looking at GME, hold on a second, I was looking at AMC. I did say, you know what, guys? It seems like big money is buying $25 or $27 calls just out the money, just over to the next week, just 8 days out. This was April 8th. 8 days out, April 8th. It's funny. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy the same thing. So I didn't buy the $25 calls. I bought the $27 calls because I like to buy just out of the money, right? Now, I don't know if people that were on the inside or people that might have got a little whiff of what was happening already knew what was going down. But Unusual Whales did highlight that with GameStop, there was a huge buy near the end of the day. I'm going to highlight for you guys here, right here. A huge buy here for $1.69 million, 14 days out, $170 call. Listen, I know that some people don't know what's going on and some people do. But whoever the hell knew what was going on just threw the kitchen sink at these calls. I feel like tomorrow will be the start. But honestly, I am more excited for next week. Tomorrow's going to be bullish. Tomorrow's going to be very exciting. Tomorrow's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a crazy Friday. But next week, when everyone that's currently invested in AMC and GMB goes to tell their friends and their family and their next door neighbor's dog about what's going on with these stocks, after this whole time, I have a feeling like Monday morning, shorts are going to end up waking up on the wrong side of the bed, on the wrong side of town, in the wrong bed with the wrong person that they were told not to go see. All right. My name is TMI, guys. I am the Masked Investor. Thank you guys very much for tuning into this video. Thank you guys very much for listening on the live as I record my video because I have to take my dog out, so I can't do this video after I'm on the live stream. So, it's a whole thing. If you guys would not mind, of course, smash the like button and give the video. Much appreciation for you guys for being here and being in the live stream today for the 4th day of 9 hours. I am cooked. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.
That was horrible. Terrible. Uninformed investing. If you want to learn how to be an uninformed investor, get your fuck on. Get your fuck on. Jesus Christ.
Hey guys, I'm back. First and foremost, where have I been? If you didn't read the community post I made yesterday, you should know that I was unable to make a video because my computer was undergoing some serious changes. I am transitioning brokers and heavily in the works to update my day trading alert system I set up using TradingView in order to get even better runners for people in my Discord. I hate to erase my entire computer and ended up setting both Linux and Windows. Come join the Discord already. We have so many things happening that you are honestly missing out if continue to stay in the sidelines. Now, today was absolutely massive for GameStop. We have much to discuss as I will break down everything for you guys, but before we begin, let me quickly state that I am not a financial advisor, and that all content discussed in this channel is simply information gathered that I deem important for people to know, so that they can make informed decisions. All efforts are aimed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Let's dive right in. GameStop broke the internet once again after announcing a stock split. In an 8K SEC filing, the video game retailer giant said that they plan to request stockholder approval for their upcoming annual shareholder meeting to increase the number of authorized Class A shares from 300 million to 1 billion in order to be able to implement the split through a dividend. A lot of people misunderstood what was said, so let me smooth it out for you. GameStop is not issuing a quarterly or monthly nor yearly cash dividend for the shares investors hold. This means that every GameStop share that you own is going to be divided. If it's a 3-to-1 split, and you own 10 shares, you will now have 30 shares total. So the stock price, if this request gets approved, would go down when it's split, but the market capitalization of the company will remain the same. Stock splits will not affect the value of the current position in any way, but it does affect investor psychology at very profound levels. One of the reasons why AMC is so popular is because it is so cheap. Many brokers don't allow investors to have fractional shares, so instead people rallied with AMC. We have seen many other companies announce splits before, most notably Tesla, which ended up climbing 80% before the split. Typically, stocks rise in anticipation of the actual split date, then investors sell off on the split and then continue to buy frantically. GME and AMC investors are diamond-handed for the most part, so I don't expect a sell-off. Tesla surged 11% after the announcement was made. These splits do not affect the fundamental value of GameStop as a company, but it could prove a huge headache for shorters. Cheaper GameStop means many other investors would be willing to try it out and invest in it. The entry cost barrier will be lowered, which will make it more appealing for investors who have been in the sidelines.
Make it more appealing for uninformed investors,
This is a nightmare situation for shorters, who have been working 24/7.
That is not a nightmare situation for short sellers. What the fuck?
It will
This is what happens when you're 15 fucking years old and you think you know about the stock market. Come on, come on.
Shorters control the price. This could make their efforts more difficult
Stimulate
to
and
yield the results
trade.
they want. We now have to wait a full official announcement by GameStop to have all the perfect details. GameStop is unstoppable at this point, so don't miss out on the ability to buy now before we go off to the moon. I will make a video on the rest of the market tomorrow as I am already late on this segment. Let's talk about today.
Well,
the Fed submitted over $1.871 trillion in reverse repo operations.
Who cares?
Today. Dark pool trades for AMC accounted for 61% of the total volume today, while dark pool trades for GameStop accounted for 57% of the total volume today.
Look, the dark pool
AMC
trades were higher than
had a larger amount
VWAP.
of buy orders than sell orders, with total volume today, while dark pool trades for GameStop accounted for 57% of the total volume
fucking dark pool
today.
trades are higher than VWAP.
AMC
Go
had
fuck
a larger
yourself.
amount of buy orders than sell orders, with GameStop also having a larger amount of buy orders than sell orders. Now, let's talk about performance. AMC had a bearish day, losing over 4% for the day. It began trading fairly weak in the pre-market, and once markets opened, after a brief run above 25.50,
I don't need a play-by-play.
AMC began to sell off, breaking under 23.50.
Come on. Who cares about that? Fucking play-by-play bullshit. Uninformed investors, man. God. Let's see. Oh, short squeeze, shit squeeze channel. GME to issue a dividend. Oh, I can't wait to hear his take on this. This is going to be so fucking ignorant.
We yelled, we screamed, we kicked, we tweeted, we emailed, we called. Gary Gensler, SEC, DOJ. I'm sure some of us contacted the FBI. I know there were many tweets at FBI directed towards these regulatory bodies and law agencies. We talked to whoever
All
we can talk to, the
agencies.
John Stewarts of the world.
There's
We
only one
contacted
John
news
Stewart.
agencies. We did everything we can, but I said from jump, we don't know what's going to trigger the mother of all short squeezes.
Oh, this is it.
We just
this is
don't
gonna be
know.
it. We know now.
There's so many variables out there, and everything's
Clearly, we know.
fluid and moving
The market doesn't know.
constantly.
The market doesn't
But right
know.
now, This actually looks
you guys
like
do.
it
Come
will
on.
be triggered in June, and I'll tell you why. First, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. Like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm to spread this to as many people as possible. The more people involved, the more FOMO kicks in when this thing jumps off. Now, GameStop shares soar more than 10%. It's actually 20% as company plans stock split. That's right. GME is finally going to do a stock split, but more importantly, they're going to do it in the form of a stock dividend. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But the crux of this and the fact of the matter is that this will force brokerages to do a share count because you can't issue dividends unless you have an accurate tally of all the shares out there. And this is what we've been talking about for a long, long time. Now, unfortunately for AMC, they don't have the luxury of issuing a dividend because they are in debt. They are heavily in debt. So you have to be in profit to be able to issue a dividend, because what a dividend is essentially you're sharing the profit with your shareholders. So the good news is, however, for AMC is that AMC moves in tandem with GME. And more importantly, if GME squeezes, this is going to force margin calls for the short hedge funds, for the Citadels of the world and everybody else who's short, right? And they're going to be forced to buy the stock to cover.
Why?
Right? And these margin calls will then in turn, like dominoes, force them to cover all of their other short positions as well. Because these are forced buying situations. When you're margin called, the lenders force you to sell your assets so that
they
can
don't.
pay them back.
Oh my God, this guy's so fucking stupid.
At that point, and
yes,
again,
you do.
That's why AMC, GME,
this guy is
quote unquote meme stocks.
Shit squeeze is now the worst.
AMC and GME,
AMC
in particular,
meme stock,
identical.
MOAS.
So that's
fuck
the good
tuber.
News.
He is.
Okay.
He's the worst.
So
this guy is the worst. He's the dumbest. He's the most manipulative.
GameStop just announced a stock split using a dividend to distribute the shares. Looks like a 3-to-1 split.
This guy sucks.
8K. So they filed this with the SEC today. GameStop announced its plan to request stockholder approval at the upcoming 2022 annual meeting of stockholders for an increase in the number of authorized shares of Class A common stock from 300 million to 1 billion through an amendment to the company's third amended and restated certificate of incorporation in order to implement a stock split of the company's Class A common stock in the form of a stock dividend and provide flexibility for future corporate needs. So that's the 8K. Now let's look at the genesis of why and how this happened. So again, we've been anticipating this. We've actually been calling for it for a long time. Ryan Cohen, was getting tweets, issue a dividend. This will force a share count. This will force a share count. But let's face it, this man plays chess, not checkers. He plays in 3D while everybody else is playing in a two-dimensional world. So let's look at the genesis of why and how this happened now, the timing of it.
Well, because they know that shit is going to be shitty in the future.
He's always been anti-short seller, and he's been a pioneer, really.
I want to know why this is going to force.
He did Chewy, took it to a successful online business, and then obviously what he did with GameStop, transforming it from brick and mortar on the brink of death and disaster. With so many shorts.
He reduced their gross margin
for it to go to zero, and he took over and he literally transitioned it to a viable
in 2021
and a future
they made
company.
less money.
But March 22nd
more
over
revenue,
here, I put my money where my
profit
mouth is.
That's what matters.
So this is when he bought 100,000 more shares on March 22nd. And
manipulative fuck.
If you've been following my videos or if you've been watching the news, BCG filed a lawsuit of $40 million against GameStop, saying that they owed them money for their consultation services. So in essence, they were trying to take credit for bringing GME out of the depths of the doldrums.
Wow, listen to that fucking
bankruptcy, right?
Dumbass restatement.
When they had nothing to do with it. It was the retail investor and Ryan Cohen and the like, right? But BCG, if you look more in depth into the videos, I'll link it in the upper right corner. They are a corrupt agency with corrupt agents within it, and they're known.
I hope this guy gets his fucking pantsuit off.
Spread FUD and destroy companies to the ground.
Oh, they spread FUD, huh?
As you can see here, the only ones more useless than overpriced consultants are those who hire them.
The AMC
BCG,
YouTubers like Shit Squeeze channel.
Okay? Who is more reprehensible? Now, this is 18 hours ago. Hedge fund short sellers are overpriced consultants. So you see the genesis of what's going on here, of the timing, again, of why this is happening now. This is a beautiful one. Children and animals must be protected at all costs. Cryptic, possibly calling out pedophilia. Animal abuse?
Wow. Oh,
Or
okay.
He likes to
Yeah.
do cryptic tweets. I was born to work.
That would be the
Another
cryptic
tweet
explanation.
addressing BCG.
Right. Not. It would be the
It
literal
got to
explanation.
The point
What
where
an
he's had
idiot.
enough. He was fed up. He was ready. All the ducks were lined up. He had everything in place. And now he made his move. Now you ask, when is the shareholder meeting?
He's bitching
When will
about
these
gas prices.
dividends be voted on?
What a cuck.
The approval, which most likely will go through. Knock on wood. GameStop corporate annual shareholders meeting is June 9th. Earnings is on June 7th. So June 9th is the date of the meeting at 8 a.m. Now, for clarification purposes, I know you all know what a dividend is, but let's look at what a stock dividend is. There are a few types of dividends, although some are much more common than others, and the likelihood is you'll only have to deal with a couple. You have the cash dividends, which we all are familiar with. We've all received cash dividends. They're the most popular form, and you're most likely to be dealing with them when you invest in companies that pay dividends. Again, you have to be profitable, not in debt, to issue dividends, and that's why
Yeah,
AMC
so
is
the
not
apes
able to
know
do this
nothing.
at the present
They've
time.
never received
The
a cash dividend.
majority of the guide will be focused on them for this reason. So as their name suggests, cash dividends are real money payouts that companies make to their shareholders. A company earns money and will pay a certain portion of it out to shareholders as a bit of a thank you for sticking around. Stock dividends are different to cash because shareholders don't receive any money. Instead, they get more shares in the company. For instance, a 5% stock dividend would mean you get 5 more shares in the company for every 100 shares you own. This can benefit the company as it means they don't have to pay out cash. For shareholders, there are both positives and negatives. Because a company issues new stock to pay this type of dividend, the result is your shares will fall in value in proportion to the number of newly issued shares. That's slightly different to cash dividends, where although the share price may fall in line with the cash paid out as a dividend, you actually have physical cash as a result. So again, this is huge news. This is not clickbait. This is real. June 9th is the shareholders' vote for this stock dividend, which again will force a share count in GME stock, which will finally expose naked shorts. And again, AMC moves in tandem with GME, and this will force a margin call or margin calls, which would force the short hedge funds to buy stocks. So let's see what happens. Let's see how they maneuver around this announcement. They probably knew about it or anticipated this, which is possibly why they halted this a couple of days ago and did more of their treachery and fuckery and illegal activity during the
they halted it.
Who knows what else they're going to do.
Halted it.
They have a lot of weapons at their disposal, and I'm sure there's stuff they have, in their back pocket that they've been saving. But this is all-out war, okay? This is all-out war.
God.
But this is what we've been waiting for. The trigger for the mother of all short squeezes.
Come on.
So let's keep an eye out. Stay positive.
Come on.
Stay
That is so
diligent,
obviously
and stay
bullshit.
strong. We'll talk soon.
Like, the apes the people that listen to this kind of shit have no critical thinking skills whatsoever. He's literally telling you that this is going to be the trigger. How many times have they said that? First of all, how many times have they said that? Second of all, unless you just literally gamble in the stock market, you should know that when you expect something to happen, that's when things like this are used against retail investors. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. They announced it on fucking March 31st. The vote isn't until June. Yeah, let's get some more people to here's what you do. Cover some shorts in after hours in both stocks, especially in AMC. Create the illusion of hype buying, organic buying, because you know that pre-market and after hours are mostly institutions, mostly not retail. So it was mostly institutions, big players. Cover some shorts in after hours, create this perception of, wow, oh shit, I got to buy tomorrow, market open. All retail investors, apes, buy tomorrow, market open. And then they also borrow, the borrowing whatever. We won't actually find out what happened today until Monday. But anyway, yeah, this is an old trick. These people are still falling for it, and they're still promoting it. That's ridiculous. What the fuck? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Roensch Capital.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Roensch Capital. Listen, GameStop just did the unthinkable. Well, not really the unthinkable. They announced a stock split, okay? Both AMC and GameStop are up handsomely after hours. I went through the 8K filing. I'm going to go through the important parts with you guys, everything I think you should know, because I think there's some confusion around what this actually means. Because people are saying this is in the form of a stock dividend, which it is. I'm going to talk about what that means. And I think there's a little bit of confusion, okay? So, first of all, I understand where people come from. I really do. And I think some people don't. But I understand when people say, are very one-sided. If they're in one or the other, like AMC or GameStop, they're upset about the other play. Now, my personal belief is that
stupid.
Truly, I think both of these stocks have a small enough market cap where one isn't going to hurt the other. Now, if they were both larger cap stocks with the same community, I think it would be more of a legitimate conversation. But really, I think the tension needs to die down a little bit. That's my opinion. I think if one does well, the other is going to do almost just as well. Right? I think that's the nature. We've seen it happen time and time again. So let's dive into this, guys. Tomorrow is the first of the month, however, so you get the best overall value joining a membership at the beginning of the month. You really do. For those of you that don't know, I am primarily, I guess I would say primarily a scalper, since that's during the trading day what I spend most of my, at least.
You must take testosterone pills.
Could learn for free. However, at least that was talked about. Really discuss it because they kept to themselves and just scalped. So really, I see this as a great way to expedite the thing in quite a bit of time. By seeing I can afford this right now, it's not something I can do. I just need to.
It's like a goddamn PBS.
If it's something you want to expedite, I think it's of a dividend. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. So first of all, at the upcoming shareholder annual meeting, they're going to be looking to get a vote to authorize that they can increase the outstanding shares. Now, again, outstanding shares versus, or at least authorized, outstanding shares authorized versus the float, they're different, okay? So again, like the 75 million float or whatever it is versus the 300 million, they're different, but this is legitimate data here. So they're looking to raise from 300 million to 1 billion. Now, that annual meeting, there hasn't really been a date set, okay? At least as of right now. The 2021 meeting was on June 9th. The 2020 event took place on June 12th. So looking probably somewhere in June, okay? But there's not really a date.
Where the fuck does 300 million come from?
Okay, now they said, this is what they said, okay? They said the increased share count could be done to provide flexibility for future corporate
75
needs.
Million,
that was in the filing.
Million.
That's what the filing said, all right? Now, the last
WTF.
important thing that was in here, and then I'm going to go over exactly what this means. They also said that it's going to ask shareholders to approve a new incentive plan to quote unquote support future compensatory equity issuances, end quote. And that would replace the 2019 incentive plan that's currently in place. All right. So what is a stock split in the form of a dividend, guys? Basically, all this means, it's basically just a stock split as everybody knows and loves. Okay. It's kind of the formal way of saying a stock split as you know it. Okay. So Tesla recently kind of announced a similar thing, right, in the form of a dividend. What it means, guys, basically,
and we all know Tesla stock is not manipulated.
Giving you
it's
more shares, but your equity in the company remains kind of the same overall. You just have more shares that are now split to the same factor. Okay, so for example,
when you talk about Tesla stock, really we're talking about Elon Musk's net worth.
For every one share you have, you would get an additional 5 shares, okay, if that makes sense, and then your position in the end would be worth the same as it already was. So,
blah blah blah
in
blah
a different scenario, just so you know, there's 2 different kind of dividends. There's a stock dividend, and then there's like a cash dividend.
We heard this.
And secondly, for tax benefits for the shareholder,
shit squeeze. Told
this is a regular stock split. Okay, but again, the formal way is to say a stock split in the form of a dividend because they're splitting it.
Yeah, because you have to explain this literally to toddlers. in this
It's
thing.
the same, just like a normal stock split. That's all this is.
Oh my
Now, in
God.
terms of the additional thing that they said when they said they're going to ask shareholders to approve a new incentive plan to, again, quote unquote, support future compensatory equity issuances, that's for, you know, the company, right? That has nothing to do with really shareholders. That's more so for executives in the company. So it's not something you really need to worry about in terms of what we're talking about here. But let's talk about what actually happened.
It sounded like you didn't really know. He's full of shit.
When stocks and companies announced a stock split. I have some data up here. Let's take a look from Reuters. Okay.
This is what I saw earlier.
Taking all S&P stocks. Okay, that just happens to be the data at hand.
That's
but
really
I think it applies
kind of for the company. Yeah.
The broader
Ryan
market
Cohen
in
needs
general.
to get
This
paid
is going
more.
back to 1980.
And whoever
Based on data since 1980,
whatever.
S&P stocks that have announced stock splits have significantly outperformed the index in the 3,
GameStop
6,
and
and
AMC
12
are
months
S&P
after
500
the initial
stocks.
announcement.
Oh.
Right. Stocks that have split gained an average of 25% over the next 12 months, compared with
Wilshire
a
5000
gain of
stocks.
9% for the benchmark index. Okay, the S&P. That's very interesting. We've seen this in recent times, like Tesla and Apple, right?
Well, this is an average.
I think
so.
more
guess
so
what,
in
Nico?
terms of
That means that some stocks
and
gained
social sentiment, because again, all
less
it does
than
is make the stock
25%. It could even
cheaper.
mean
now in today's day and age where you can buy
some of these stocks lost
pieces of shares, incomplete shares. Does it really matter? No. But in human psychology, guys, do people really want to buy, a third of a share when they could buy 5 shares of some other company? I think it really is kind of like a pride or an ego thing. And when it's perceived to be cheaper, I think more people are attracted to the company.
Well, so it's manipulative
buy,
then. That's
half
the
of a
conclusion we
share
came
of
to with the other
$1,000
video.
stock, you might not. And that's a big decrease in demand. Okay, not to mention the implications in the options chain. It's going to get the contracts are going to get cheaper, right? Now that doesn't necessarily mean an increase in buying.
You better hope they do.
These are derivatives, right? Not putting pressure directly on the stock, but it brings more interest, I think, to the name in general. So it's generally perceived to be a positive, bullish thing when a company announces a split, if the stock is already a little bit more up there in price. Where GameStop, we know, somewhat is. Now, also, it's worth mentioning that I think, honestly, with a community like we have,
this is a single-dollar stock.
I think we do have a larger chunk of newer investors than maybe something like Apple would.
What?
Right?
I'm sorry, I got to go back.
Honestly, with a community like we have, I think we do have a larger chunk of newer investors than maybe something like Apple would. Right? It's just, I think it's generally more attractive to new investors when they see
uninformed investors,
in a very real
gamblers,
way, kind of like a
people
way
who don't
out,
know what they're doing,
or
people who are going to lose money.
Maybe kind of stick it to shorts in a way, because I think it's kind of a romantic idea as well, and the data supports it, and the data's there, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not just kind of like a pipe dream. I mean, this is a real setup that is going on here with both GameStop and AMC, where I truly believe shorts got greedy and had done this probably 100 times prior, where they just are able to drive a company into the ground like it's nothing, hitting a short home run, for example, because if the stock goes to zero,
during the pandemic, they
don't have to buy back the shares.
They've done it every pandemic we've had ever.
Okay, and I think that it really is a case of getting greedy and overseeing kind of an oversight on their part of.
You are talking to the greediest fucking kind of dumb fucks in the market.
Retail's never really banded together like they have with these two plays. So at this point, it really is probably a little bit of a pride thing on the short side as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're dealing with newer investors who probably have less money, on average individually than
I agree.
60, 65-year-olds that are buying Apple, a cheaper stock is attractive. Right, because they can buy more shares of a cheaper stock. So
his voice sounds weird.
I think this is really a great
higher
thing.
Tone like that.
And will it be reflected tomorrow, guys? That's the wrong time frame. You're looking at it in the wrong way. We need to look at this.
Guess
on
what?
The next
They're still going to buy calls for this week. They're still going to buy calls that expire tomorrow.
I'm not saying it's going to take
I'm calling that
5 months for this to show. No, but I'm saying just zoom out, okay? Zoom out. If tomorrow's red, it very well could be. The after-hours movement is crazy. I mean, AMC's up like 5%. GameStop's up double digits %. So zoom out, okay? Don't hold this announcement accountable to tomorrow. The market's doing some crazy things right now, and we know that at some point, if the market gets really bad, for a couple of days.
It's going to be an April Fool's fucking
Some stocks
spectacular.
Just can't avoid it. Most
and
stocks
it's
can't
fucking
avoid it. It's actually a black hole. Okay, so don't hold us accountable to tomorrow. Zoom out, look at a few different months in the next coming, the next coming months, and we'll see how this really plays out.
So
I think this is a good move. I think it's a smart move, and I think any company, at least most companies, with a little bit more expensive, at least price-wise,
the price is legitimately $30 higher
right now,
than it
should
was
be considering
at
this
close.
as a real option because it's proved, well in the past. So I'm excited to see what this has in store, not only for GameStop, but also, kind of its brother, AMC. Appreciate you guys watching the whole video. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, leave a like and a comment. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing here. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, this will look a hell of a lot different tomorrow. When did those get added? Instrument GME has no options. Right. Okay. So on the 28th, it went up to 315. Oops. 29th, it went up to 380. Keep in mind this is before they announced it. Yesterday, Wednesday, it went up to 395. And today it goes up to 395. Okay. Okay. 380. Boy. Okay. The monthly goes to 510. Holy shit. Wow. I mean, there's hardly any volume though. That's crazy. On the monthly? Weird. I thought that... Who was that? Oh yeah, it was TMI. He said something about the 170 calls. What is he... Oh. What time did that... Lynn. Regular chicken nuggets, the kind that you get at the grocery store and in the freezer section that are 4 times as expensive now. Yeah. So it was throughout the day. It wasn't all at once, of course. The highest volume in any 15-minute period is 1,000, so unusual whales. Pfft, unusual fucking idiot. Usual idiot. Actually, let's see, what is this stuff here? Mild wing sauce. Generic. Grocery store brand. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. No, I don't drink alcohol, but I have a sun-kissed orange soda here. That's pretty good. God, why are his videos so fucking long? I'm one to talk. But, okay. Watch some of it. Some of it.
You know, I thought to myself, what's sort of the the best way to
I thought to myself,
the crazy day that we happen to have. And I don't see really any better way than an illustration, South Park style.
South Park
Ryan
style
Cohen today. So here's an illustration, as you can see.
Yeah.
This right here is Ryan Cohen. This right here is Ryan Cohen's ball sack.
God
and,
damn, that's
this right
gross.
here is a wheelbarrow, and he's just kind of hauling along this this ball sack and a wheelbarrow, having himself a fucking great day. Guys, what is up? It's your boy Trey coming back for another freaking video. Looking forward to saying I'm not fucking.
It's just me, or does he look like shit?
Let's get into the video. So I gotta be honest. I was getting ready to rip this video, and all of a sudden, I'm within 5 minutes of hitting the record button. I was thinking, God, fucking crap, dude, this sucks. We're just in a tough spot. I mean, I was looking over some levels, and they are still possible. We are gonna go over the levels. I do think that is important. But then we get slapped with this GameStop news, right? Now I want to make this perfectly clear.
Then a bunch of shorts covered and got your fucking little dick hard.
There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no doubt about it. We got to be absolutely real with ourselves. And I want to start off by saying that because it's important. But here's the agenda for the day, right? We're going to talk the GameStop stock split news. This just literally came out in the after hours. Ryan Cohen's been tweeting like a beast lately. And I want to discuss what this sort of implicates.
Yeah, the shit must be good.
A couple things that was mentioned in the article. In case
you gets that good shit there in Kansas.
From Unusual Whales. So check this
wink,
out.
Wink.
Here's the source.
Oh, Unusual Idiot.
Okay. We're going to discuss what this sort of looks like. They had talked about a stock split and a dividend. So I'd like to talk about the dividend. I'd like to talk about what this means for the stock price specifically.
Now,
the usual market reaction. I'm actually going to give you some examples because there are some solid ones that have come up in the past here. And then I'd like to discuss what this kind of means for the GameStop situation, and ultimately AMC has a sympathy to that. What that would implicate.
Sympathy.
So we're going to go over the
use the TMI term
that are likely sympathy movers.
Sympathy.
And the potential for
Said it again.
shorts, because that's actually pretty dang huge. This is a big reason why I've been really kind of knocking on the door about wiping out debt for AMC, because what you just saw happen for GameStop can very easily be something that AMC can do as well. So with that being said, after we dive into that stuff, I'd like to go over the levels. The options chain, I'm not happy about the options chain right now. I think they're going to be, I tweeted this out earlier today, and maybe this is doing better for an entire video in and of itself. You guys let me know if you'd like to see it, but it was basically talking about this right here. Another way to put it, I talked about the halts and the options chain. So if you want to see that in and of itself, just a whole video, let me know in the comment section. But I'm going to go over the options chain and then the bull bear case scenario heading into tomorrow. The bull scenario looks a lot better than the bear than it did, I should say, about
that's
15,
an uninformed
20 minutes
take.
ago. So that's something to be pretty decently happy about.
Oh boy,
like
the stock went up a shit ton. That means I should buy it.
If this, then that sort of situation, right? If this happens, you play.
Why do I keep losing money though? Why do I keep losing money?
Entry, runners, exit, all that
know.
sort of stuff. We're going to go over and review.
It went up. I gotta buy it.
The chart actually did today and see if there's some opportunity.
Welcome
and then
to
tomorrow's
Uninformed Investing 101.
Breaking. GameStop split confirmed in their 8K via a dividend. And if you look at this, right, what you're going to notice is that they're going to be voting for shareholder approval on an actual matter at hand here. So I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to drop this in Microsoft Whiteboard, and we're going to draw on this and show you what I think to be some of the important key parts of this, right? So if we're looking at this 8K right now, what you're going to notice is on March 31st, let me just pull up the actual, here we go. On March 31st, right here, GameStop announced its plan to request stockholder approval at the upcoming 2022 annual meeting of stockholders for an increase in the number of authorized Class A common stock from 300 million to 1 billion through an amendment to the company's third amended and restated certificate of incorporation. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh no, right? They're just asking for more shares, whatever. But this is something that they're actually planning to do so that they can have this stock split operate in a different way. And the key word here, right? This was dropped by Unusual Whales, and I find this to be interesting. It's via a dividend. Now, a dividend, there's some key parts that we have to understand, right? In order to truly implement a dividend the way that you'd like to, the fact of the matter is this: debt, right?
Hey, let's talk about 300 million to 1 billion, though, real quick, because nobody's actually mentioned this. This is voting to increase the number of authorized shares. The number of authorized shares. Like, the company authorizes this number of shares to be issued. That doesn't mean they're issuing them. Because, as far as I can tell, GameStop has 75.9 million shares outstanding currently. Yet, this document says increase from 300 million to 1 billion. So, implying it's currently 300 million. That means that they currently are authorized to issue 300 million. There's only 76 million out there now. So, is everybody totally misinterpreting this? I don't know. But based on the way that they interpret everything, it kind of seems like it, because also, okay, another source, right? FinViz, okay, another source. 76.34 million. Well, that's a ways off from 300 million. Even the maximum that they had, like within recent years, was only 102 million. So you'd have to go back to the previous filing, I guess, the I don't know, it's a 2019 plan, I guess. But authorized shares. So currently 300 million shares are authorized, but there's only 76 million outstanding. So is this actually not even saying that? It says, through an amendment, in order to implement a stock split in the form of a stock dividend and provide flexibility for future corporate needs. So they're not actually saying, this is really interesting, okay? They're not actually announcing a stock split, in my humble opinion and reading of this. They are proposing an increase in the number of authorized shares in order to implement a stock split in the form of a stock dividend and provide flexibility for future corporate needs. It really, yeah, it says the stock dividend will be contingent on final board approval. The board of directors has approved both proposals, but I think this is being wildly misinterpreted. Wow. Now, obviously, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem, and wow, look at that face. I just noticed it. It doesn't seem like, I mean, Roensch Capital mentioned, he said the number of authorized, I believe it was him, authorized shares and shares outstanding are not the same thing, but he didn't say what they were. He didn't actually enumerate the differences between those. So, yeah, I think they're probably totally misinterpreting this, which means even more that my theory of cover some shorts in the aftermarket, make it seem like there's positive bullish sentiment because of this news, and then fucking slam it down tomorrow on an option expiration on the first day of the second quarter. On April fucking Fool's Day, you are going to get fucking crushed. You are going to get fucking crushed. And if you buy calls tomorrow when the market opens, you fucking deserve to get crushed. What's up, Manuel? You deserve, not Manuel doesn't deserve. Yeah, and if I had my prop betting, God, I got to get that set up somehow. But if I had my prop bet website up and running, we would bet on, I don't know if we could figure out, see, that's the problem with some of these things, though, Lynn. there has to be, we have to be able to discern the answer. Like, and it has to be, the quote unquote investors in this would have to be, they would have to have confidence in the market. So I don't know how we would actually tell how much sleep he's had, but that's a great idea. That's a great idea to say 5-1. It is a great idea, though. If you can figure out how we can actually empirically tell, like the number of rings underneath his eyes, maybe, like a tree. Yeah, but read this proposal, this whatever, more closely, and think about, yeah, there aren't 300,000 shares outstanding currently. So, you know, putting 2 and 2 together here, the volume of nonsense coming out of his mouth, yeah. Okay, enough of my allergen-filled rambling.
Going to influence the way that they're able to issue a dividend if they would like to do something like that. So because of this, because of their lack of debt is probably the key thing here, plus heavy amount of cash, they're able to do something along these lines. So we're going to read onwards. And then just to reiterate, right, obviously we know that AMC has a pretty heavy amount of debt right now. This is why I've been screaming. I've been banging my head against the wall for the last 1 month, 2 months, whatever, saying I think that the big key thing that Aron should do to really prep his company is get rid of some of this debt, because that's just going to open the door for them to do
by buying the gold
that they like to do.
That's why he did that, Trey.
So we're going to read on, right?
He did it because he heard you.
In order to implement a stock split of the Class A common stock in the form of a stock dividend and provide flexibility for future corporate needs. GameStop also intends to request stockholder approval at the annual meeting for a new incentive plan to support future compensatory equity issuances.
Bonuses for the executives.
It will replace the current 2019 incentive plan and 8 million shares of companies' Class A common stock, plus any shares subject to the 2019 plan that expire are forfeited, canceled, terminated, or settled in cash. Yada, 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 yada. So the big takeaway for me is this, right? There's a couple of big buzzwords here that investors typically like. And there's some great examples of this. You think of Amazon. You think of Tesla. You think of NVIDIA. Just a company announcing a stock split.
I think that incentive was the 8 million.
Right? Let's think about this in terms of basic supply and demand.
Cancel that.
What does this tell you in terms of supply and demand, right? Tells you that there is a shit ton of demand. Demand is incredibly high. Stock price has been going up, whatever, right? And they personally believe that maybe it'll just be more accessible if the stock price is cheaper. Maybe it'll be
more accessible to uninformed investors. Yes, we heard this before.
And with the stock dividend, you can see this right here. Provide flexibility for future corporate needs, whatever. We don't know sort of the full details of what this is going to look like as this is announced today. We don't know, do we, Trey? In anticipation of the next overall GameStop Corporation stockholder meeting, which is going to be coming up. So they're going to be ultimately voting on that. That's going to be something, if you are a GameStop investor, that you want to pay attention to. Well,
implying that he is not part of that number.
That this could mean for the future, right? A dividend. Who pays a dividend?
Trey doesn't own GameStop.
This is a lot of people have talked about. I'm actually, I've talked about this, a little bit, and there's been some others in the community who have been very, very keen on seeing a dividend. And truthfully,
this is not really a dividend.
I myself have come out straightforward and said dividend means they have to have no debt, right? Dividend, no debt. AMC has a hard time with this. You can't really pay a dividend without any debt.
You're not paying a dividend.
The books,
is it
natural?
What do the bond documents say? Do they say cash dividend? Do they say stock dividend? Do they say any dividend? I don't know, but none of these guys have bothered to look. So that's stupid. I'm going to pass over this. Okay, let's hear the short.
The key thing here, where if GameStop has naked shorts, which seems pretty plausible, seems pretty likely.
Yeah, seems pretty plausible. Here, right? Yeah. Let me get some more fucking
our shorts
Coke.
Kind of expose themselves. I mean,
do another line.
This is really a best case scenario.
Got the best shit out here in Kansas.
I'm actually pretty excited to see. This is what you're hoping to work towards for really busting down on some of these guys who I think crookedly.
This guy is not very intelligent.
Wipe out retail investors. And I don't think it's a coincidence either, by the way.
He gives himself away so much.
Just pull up his Twitter. What has he been doing? What has he been doing for the last week? He's been talking about how much he hates hedge funds.
Children should be protected, and so should animals.
Which is more reprehensible.
Children and animals should be protected together.
He's been going on and on and on.
What the fuck does that even mean?
So what do you think this is really about, right? I'll tell you this all day long. Ryan Cohen, it's a boss move. It's a boss move. I mean, you know exactly what's on his mind.
He's got a hard on for,
and that's why I wanted to draw this picture, because this dude's just got fucking huge balls. I mean, he's got some diamond encrusted. I got to draw a little diamond on here. He's got some
AMC
diamond
holders would dump their
encrusted
AMC and jump into GameStop at the day high tomorrow.
That doesn't look anything like a diamond, but you get my point. You really understand why he did this, right? This is pretty straightforward and explainable just by looking at sort of his tone as time has passed. Which brings me to this. It ultimately depends on how they end up.
It ultimately depends on which one they want to lose money in.
I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details here, but
maybe they're sick of losing money with AMC, so they want to go lose money on GameStop.
Some form of compensation. I don't know what that's going to look like. GameStop will have to go over that themselves. The management will have to go over that themselves. Whatever. But a stock split typically means cheaper shares. When you look at Tesla, Tesla's done stock splits, and the shares got cheaper because they increased the float, right? Amazon, they just announced.
Whoa! Nobody said anything about increasing the float here.
I don't know if it's been executed yet. Don't think so. But let me just show you what this actually looks like.
No, it has not.
Check this out.
It doesn't happen until fucking June. This guy's so uninformed.
To the NASDAQ or whatever it may be. But this is bullish. That's a good thing. And the usual market reaction is positive. You typically see a good move to the upside, as I just kind of showed you with Amazon, and as I'm sure many remember with Tesla and with NVIDIA. But what does this mean, right? The big takeaway, shorts can expose themselves. That's really, really huge. So GameStop, huge moves, very likely. I would expect GameStop's sort of momentum to continue, and what that ultimately means,
he expects the momentum to continue,
as an AMC
which
investor,
means
you're a sympathy move to this, right? I do not expect. It's possible, who knows, right? I've seen crazy market shit. I think that the way that these stocks trade right now is crazy market shit to begin with, but expect AMC to be a sympathy mover to that. And ultimately, I'm just being straight with you. I mean, there's no beating around the bush here. This is just a baller move from GameStop, and you'd expect AMC to be the sympathy to that, not the leader of that. So that's just kind of how it is. But I think it is going to influence, as we've seen before, and you can see it in the after hours, algos do move AMC stock in tandem, I should say, with GameStop, right? Up 14.61%. AMC has no news, up 5%.
Oh, look, a new
these stocks the exact same way. You can't tell me for a second
code for
that
gamer
retail is the one that caught this news immediately at the 1 minute mark. I mean, you know exactly what this is. You know who gets the news first, so you know who's buying this. It's the algos, man. The algos move these together, so I would expect AMC to have some sympathy.
Yeah, that was not. So in other words, it wasn't actual people. It wasn't actual investors.
30-day period, specifically AMC. Obviously, GameStop thrown into this, but you can.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. How are we only halfway through this video?
The options chain, the bull and bear case scenario, because the options chain on AMC is probably what makes me the most sweaty. You really got to see a decent sized move up.
That ain't going to happen. Okay. All right. We got that. We got this.
Back quite a ways on AMC's chart. I want to show you what happened back in January.
I don't care. Who cares?
It was a Wednesday. What did you notice, right? You noticed a pretty decent sized move up. It went from about 477 up to 859, about 100% move, maybe just shy of that. Then it gapped up and had a huge move the next day.
Gapped up.
To be straight, I thought that maybe today
we're going to gap up.
That gap up. Begin. I thought it'd be in the
why would
yesterday?
You had decreasing volume the last 3 fucking days, Trey. But you don't talk about volume. Oh, that's right. You don't talk about fucking volume. You don't talk about the basic fundamentals of the market. You talk about all this fucking speculative shit. The option chain, gamma squeeze, shorts haven't covered. But you thought you were gonna gap up today. What a fucking moron.
Your market today, but this could actually be the setup. This could be it.
It could be. Right? It could be it. Yeah, like when you said that I swear, I know this thing's gonna squeeze again in June. The last June. I know it's gonna squeeze this month. I know it, guys. I know it. Hands together like he's praying. I know it's gonna happen. You were fucking wrong. You've been wrong. Every time. Every fucking time. You're wrong. God. Seriously. These guys are wrong. Every fucking time. And they just go on like it makes no difference that they have not been right at all. with these stupid predictions. This could be it. This could be it. Yeah, what credibility do you have left, Trey? What credibility do you have? And let me tell you something, brother. The mustache does not lend any credibility to your image. It doesn't. The big black dildo doesn't lend any credibility. You just look like a clown. You're a fucking clown. You're a motherfucking clown.
Does not mean
Jesus
that you
Christ.
should make any rash decisions tomorrow. Daily expirations, if you're gonna do that stuff, just know the risk. I mean, that's a lottery ticket. With no shadow of a doubt.
Which means that you won't win money.
This is a point that I think is.
God, look at all the lines. All the lines.
I would probably put that
lines on the chart. Lines of
not,
coke.
Sold. Whatever. So you get actually an increase in selling pressure. You can. It's on here, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. You do not want to hold through chop ever. Ever. I mean, that's just not your friend for trading. Chop is not good, right? You want to take movement. Movement is good. So I likely would have gotten out here. Movement meaning volatility, right? I likely would have seen this chop and just taken a small win. Wouldn't have been much, 10, 20%. However.
Oh, he's talking about the SPY. Okay. We've skipped through this.
Or number two, it chops it.
Oh, my God.
I didn't announce this. I didn't take this as a play. But there's opportunity both ways for a call in for a put, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Where did this get some resistance? Where did it start to chop around a little bit? You look at this on the 1 minute candles. What do you notice, right? This green box. Kind of weird. Kind of weird how it's bounced around on this green box. You know what this green box is? It's a demand zone. Well, what have I said about demand zones, right? Demand zones typically have one of two options, right? Number one is it knifes it, or number two, it chops it. A knife means that it goes straight down through it. It doesn't try and discover price action here. It just goes straight down, right? A chop is the discovery of price action. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, what typically happens with chop? We've talked about this before. In case you don't know, though, I've got an options and charting masterclass on my YouTube level. It comes back down to test this level. Instead of
there are much better supply and demand zone videos out there. There's no reason to watch his. Just search for supply and demand zone trading, and you know, there's a lot of videos about that concept.
Information on an uptrend break, right? Let's say that in the pre-market it gaps down, and then a market open, you see it come down, and it comes up.
Good job, Trey. Do I trade? Well, I work full time, so I don't have as much time to trade as I used to when I wasn't working. I trade SPY, and sometimes I trade options on AMC, maybe. There was one other one that the hell was it? I don't know. One of those metal materials companies when all the commodities shot up, but I can't really dedicate the time to it right now. Unfortunately, but yeah, it's probably fortunate. So I'm not losing money. Wait, didn't Ricky Gutierrez, the hunk of Wall Street? He's the hunk of Wall Street. Look at him. Wow. He's fucking ripped. Trey's got nothing. Trey's gun's got nothing on this guy. Jesus Christ. This is weird. 3 reasons to sell AMC stock now, 2 days ago. Then 5 hours ago, AMC, this is going parabolic. Could it really do such a 180 in less than 2 days? I don't know, man. I don't. Yeah, I mean, you know, it could. But, you know, it's like 2 days ago, he was like telling the truth. Like, you know what? blah, 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 whatever he said. And then 5 hours ago, because of this stupid fucking not really a split being announced, now he says it's going parabolic. And look at him too. The power of manifesting. Oh boy, that sounds like some gobbledygook to me. Let me just manifest some stock gains. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it all here. Not until we hear from Matt Stoner. Look at this guy, Matt Stoner. He doesn't necessarily look like he's high, although he kind of does. Matt Stoner, reporting for duty. What is this back here? Oh, that's the edge of his couch. Okay, I've always seen this thing, and I'm like, what the hell is that? It looks like one of those tunnels for cats. Looks like it goes down the hallway. No, it's the edge of his sofa. That makes sense. It's crazy what happens when you pause videos. Yeah. We got to hear from Finance News. Your number one source for finance news and information on YouTube. Finance News. We bullshit you about everything. Okay, here we go.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us today and for your support. My name is Matt Stoner. Today I'm coming back with yet another AMC video. Lots to talk about as we move closer and closer to a gamma squeeze.
Well,
the after-hours cost to borrow in some of our favorite stocks is going up at a massive rate. But before I get into the video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button for me and subscribe to the channel. And while you're down there, go ahead and take a look at the description of this video where you will find a link for a service called Moomoo. Now, guys, I have a huge announcement. Our sponsor Moomoo is giving away a ton of free cash. If you sign up for an account using my link in the description, you will get a free share of NEO plus 2 free shares of stock worth up to $7,000 in total for signing up and funding your account with as little as $1. I'll go ahead and put the full details of this promotion on the screen, but I just want to let you know about this opportunity. Guys, this is the easiest thing that you will do today. It takes literally 5 seconds to sign up for an account. Everybody knows that I am a huge fan of free money. If you are as well, I highly recommend checking out Moomoo. All right, guys, we're going to jump right in.
I highly recommend
with a piece of breaking.
You guys do this. Okay, remove the like button. Remove the like. Take a page from Robinhood's playbook and remove the like button. Okay, that way you won't be tempted.
News. It looks like market makers and short sellers have been preparing for multiple short squeezes, perhaps simultaneously, indicating that MOAS
is looks like market maker. Looks like market maker. Market maker. Sounds like something they would say in Arrested Development. I made banner. We made banner for you, Michael. We made banner. It looks like market maker and short sellers.
On us as if we didn't have enough information as to that from Tuesday morning. Now, Interactive Brokers after hours shared borrow rate fee has jumped for many stocks.
Now, let's think about this. Why would that happen? Why would the borrow rate fee jump up? You know, Lynn is saying, thank you for not monetizing your channel. You're welcome. It's the least I could do, especially since I can't monetize it because I don't have enough subscribers. But actually, oh wow, 135? Holy shit. Went from 118 the other day to now 135. Shit. Well, I may be monetizing my channel sooner than we expected. I'm just kidding. I don't need to now. But yeah, no. You have to have more than 135,000, I think, or 2,000. I don't know. I was never close to it before, even. So I just didn't. But I just never even looked into it. But the reason that I did want to get to that threshold of something was so that I could accept super chats, which I would do. I absolutely would. We talked about this before. You know, like last resort super chat. I'll answer your question. I will answer any question. And I'll actually answer it, unlike Matt Kohrs. But it's going to cost you. But not yet. So you get in now before the price goes up later.
Many of these are names that we've been hearing about and talking about since last January.
Yes.
Starting out on the bottom here with Nokia up 500%, BlackBerry up 800%, MULN Automotive
this is very disingenuous percentaging here.
Cost up 950%, and this is where things.
So they're not saying it's 17,000%. They're saying that it increased by 17,000%. Yeah. We don't know what the actual numbers are, though.
Start to get a little bit
disingenuous.
Fun. Bed Bath & Beyond up 2,750%. AMC up 3,000%. And GameStop up 17,000% in total to borrow shares in the after hours. Now, once again, we pretty much know at this point that if any one of these stocks runs, the rest of them are going to follow. There's no question about that. But what is so interesting is that
there is
incredibly
questions about it
for what is going to happen, and they're capitalizing on this as much as humanly possible. Now, guys, this is incredibly bullish. I'm really stoked to see something like this, especially on a day that, you know, AMC started to go down yesterday. But of course, we do know that a lot of this was these short sellers trying to do everything they can.
Who
and
posted
ended up messing up in the middle of the day, going over 10%.
We can't even tell who posted it on Reddit,
also known as the uptick
or who
rule.
tweeted it.
So they are not going to be able to support a short on the downside for the next day or so, but only on the upside, meaning that they have to drive the price up if they're going to.
I'm sorry.
What is going to happen, and they're capitalizing on this as much as humanly possible. Now, guys, this is incredibly bullish. I'm really stoked to see some.
It's not humanly, though, because these are, the market's not run by humans. I mean, it is, but the trading itself, anyway.
Something like this, especially on a day that, you know, AMC started to go down yesterday. But of course, we do know that a lot of this was these short sellers trying to do everything they can, and they ended up messing up in the middle of the day, going over 10%, triggering the short sale restriction, also known as the uptick rule. So they are not going to be able to support a short on the downside for the next day or so, but only on the upside, meaning that they have to drive the price up if they're going to continue to cover their shares and all of the short positions that they have. Now,
that doesn't even make sense. What he said doesn't even make sense. They can't short on a downtick, so they have to drive the price up so that they can continue to cover their shares. No, the price, they can only short on an uptick. So, but like what he said was incongruent. It did not.
If they're going to
follow.
Cover their shares and all of the short positions that they have. Now, a lot of the reasons that they are panicked is because there is a possibility that we will have a gamma squeeze this Friday. We have a ton of call options in the money. We're going to take a closer look at that towards the end of the video. Once again, we did see a number about 97.3, something like that, that put us in the top 300, top 200 or so gamma squeeze score. The rank is from 0 to 100. It indicates a high risk. 50 is an average, and of course, we do know that 100 means it's incredibly volatile. Now, there are still 12 stocks that are ahead of AMC, who is sitting at a 99.71% chance of a gamma squeeze by this Friday. Now, once again, we also know that shares that are...
So this AMC stock will squeeze with a 99.7% chance. That's talking about a gamma squeeze. So, and by this Friday. I need everybody who's watching this video to hit the like button, since my video actually has one. This video doesn't have one. I don't know what happened, but there is no like button here. I'm not going to hit dislike, but if you all would hit the like button on this video that you're watching, I would appreciate it very much, very much. Because, you know, I'll borrow a phrase from Short the VIX. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing, and it helps get our video out to more people. So, thank you. Somebody just did. Somebody else just did. You get a new car. You get a new car. You get a new car. Okay.
That are sold short or people that are selling shares short are having a really hard time coming up with shares right now. Very few of them available to borrow. We've seen several days in the last week where they're having zero. Cost to borrow continues to go up. So again, everything is starting to look really great here, but we jumped up about 200 places in 24 hours as more of these call options move into the money. Once again, we see another reason that they're trying to do everything they can to push us down. Now, we are also seeing a repeating pattern, something that I really like to look out here with regards to what is happening with AMC. Taking a look here, we did see
there's so much
pattern here a couple of different times.
Premium that's going to expire worthless tomorrow. Holy shit.
January. I'm going to jump back here just to see. And then again,
oh my God. Baby Jesus on the pogo stick. Holy shit. Okay, look at this. So, max pain is 23. That means that if AMC is $23 tomorrow, okay, everything above 23 will expire worthless. So from 23.5 all the way up to 51, which, why is there a 51 strike when this, anyway. And these numbers, this is dollars here. See, cash. This is the dollar amount, which is how max pain is calculated. It's not just it's not the most open interest or the most volume. It actually goes off of the dollar amount. So if the stock is 23, that means everything above it is worthless. So these are cash amounts for each strike. And these are the amounts for each strike. So let's just jump up to 30. 73 million. 80 million. Again, this is dollars. This is money that is being forfeited by the holders of these options, like collectively. 80 million, 88 million. You jump up to $250 million here. And then you jump up to $500 million here. So there's over $1 billion there. There's over $1 billion there. So that's 2, 3, 4. This is like $6 billion in this option chain, just in the calls on one expiration. $6 billion in option premium. That's wild. That's really wild. And it's no wonder why Citadel made record profits last year. I mean, this one only goes up to 51. When AMC was trading in this range last year, it went up to 145. These grifters, they're grifters. This is all money that's being lost by retail investors. This is the transfer of wealth that they're talking about. This is the transfer of wealth. Right here. Let's just conservatively, which is absurd to say when you're talking about these numbers, call it $5 billion. $5 billion in fucking option premium. Just on the calls for one weekly expiration on fucking April 1st, April Fool's Day. I mean, that is it's just great. It's awesome. It's fantastic. So, man.
If we take a look at the second image here, we are seeing that same base reconsolidation.
But everybody's looking at this stuff, you know. Oh, look, it looks the same as it did last year. So we are going. So it's going to do the same thing, right? Because it's the same. Because, you know, last January, you know, everybody was on unemployment still, and everything was under COVID lockdown restrictions, and I mean, really?
And then once again, we saw that massive rocket upwards, January and June. Same thing we're seeing here, a little bit of that base, starting to see a bit of a tapering off here. We did trade sideways quite a bit of the day yesterday, and then went ahead and shot everything upwards very quickly. Now, Dave Lauer, the CEO and founder of Irvin Finance, has been an outspoken asset. We know that he was on that interview with Jon Stewart, where he was talking about inducements and incentives. We also know that he's constantly on Twitter taking a look at what is happening in the market. He was very vocal about that trading halt that we saw yesterday, and he's come up with something that he likes to call the conflict of interest feedback loop. There are huge conflicts of interest, and they impact the entire industry. That is the perfect illustration of a conflict of interest feedback loop. Just coined that term, and here's what happened. Retail brokers or the internalizers routing orders on their behalf posted a bunch of high price orders to EDGX because they do that by default as a result of the enormous rebate. They don't care about getting best execution. They just want to maximize their rebates. We of course saw these these massive shares for 2069, of course, and then we also see the number of shares that are going through. GameStop was halted due to the limit down condition, but the SIP continued to publish quotes for another 35 milliseconds. This had market-wide impacts, including causing several brokers to alert their customers that high-price options on GameStop were suddenly in the money because the brokers assumed the quotes were accurate, even though the stock was halted, and they should not have processed those quotes. Now, there are two general possibilities. Either EDGX queued up the release of these quotes on their side, or it took the 35 milliseconds to publish approximately 1,112.
Oh, shit, it was muted. Oops, sorry. This is exactly what I said in the last stream when I wasn't muted. And the fact that, yeah, thank you. Everybody's saying you're muted, you're muted, you're muted. Thank you. I was. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Chilo. I said that with respect to this halt and trading during suspensions and things like that, that it's not going to come to a stop for one stock immediately. There's going to be a delay. Granted, it's a small delay, but this has impact in the market. So I came at it from an intuitive perspective. I don't know what Dave Lauer knows, but I do know a little bit about system dynamics, and the way things kind of work. So yeah, this is like, and he's talking about these orders for 420.69. You know, I mean, 420.69, really? Okay.
Published quotes for another 35 milliseconds. This had market-wide impacts, including causing several brokers to alert their customers that high-price options on GameStop were suddenly in the money because the brokers assumed the quotes were accurate, even though the stock was halted, and they should not have processed those quotes. Now, there are two general possibilities.
So let's
either EDGX queued up the release of these quotes on their side, or it took the 35 milliseconds to publish approximately 1,112 quote updates, apparent due to two different timestamps. And then retail brokers who were receiving these quotes were actually likely calculating a mid-price of GameStop based on, for example, when the ask was 420.69 and the bid was 0, the price would have been about 210.35. At some point, the mid price crossed $510. So a bunch of retail brokers received alerts that their options were in the money. This is because the retail broker tech systems weren't properly filtering out bad data, and the stock was halted and the bid was at zero. You can't really calculate a mid. So once again, it bears repeating, what are the market structure problems that this seemingly isolated event exposed? First of all, exchange rebates induce brokers to route orders for their own benefit, not for best execution, which is required. Exchange systems are being subsidized by SIP money, but are failing to maintain the SIP systems, resulting in 35 milliseconds of bad quotes being published because they are incentivized to keep their own private feeds valuable in order to maximize revenue and shareholder value instead of
imagine that
fair and efficient market.
A private company under a capitalist system being incentivized to keep proprietary data and use it to maximize revenue and shareholder value instead of maintaining fair and efficient markets. I mean, come on, Dave Lauer. Come on. This is so disingenuous. And let me be clear. Of course, I'm in favor of fair and efficient markets. However, I understand the nature of the system that we're in here. The exchanges are publicly traded for-profit companies. The market maker is a for-profit, privately held company. Of course it's about maximizing revenue. Of course it is. This is targeted at the apes. It's targeted at uninformed investors who don't understand this stuff, who have these delusions about, oh, we're gonna have transparency now. Gary Gensler is gonna make it transparent, and Dave Lauer is on our side. Dave Lauer fucking blocked me on Twitter because I called him out for stoking, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, waxing the ego of the apes, talking them up, and, pumping them full of hopium and saying, oh yeah, you guys are getting screwed. Like, come on. This is, brokers route orders for their own benefit, not for best execution. I mean, we've known this stuff. So, who is this aimed toward? What is the tone here? What is the tone of this piece? Who's it aimed towards? You really have to convince retail investors that this stuff happens? I mean, it's pretty widely known. And imagine this, number 3. Discount brokers are underinvesting in critical technology systems, resulting in bad data being acted upon because they are not properly incentivized to invest in these systems. Oh, imagine that. I'm sure everybody can think of maybe the field that you work in or that you're familiar with, or the field, some hobby or something where all these same things are true. The businesses are in business for their own benefit, not really to help the customer, not really to advance the art, not really for any other reason than to maximize revenue, increase shareholder value if there are shareholders, instead of actually advancing whatever it is that they are working in, whatever field, whatever interest, whatever concern. And I'm just thinking about, my work here. In underinvesting in critical technology systems, yeah, of course. Why would you outlay more money? Why would you redo the system? Why would you get rid of Oracle, NetSuite? Why would you get rid of NetSuite and go with a custom solution when we have Oracle? We already have it. Never mind that there's 18 steps to enter an order, and nothing is customized, and just all these fields that are unused on every screen. But yeah, they're not incentivized to change that. It works. We can, we can get through it. The reality is they don't realize that we would actually get more orders through. We would do a better job. We would have more accurate business dealings if the system were streamlined. And that's just for in my business that I work at. But you can take this and put it in whatever you know and see all of this stuff. This is nothing that this this is capitalism, baby. This is it. This is free markets right here. Free markets means free market means it's my profit. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. Save for some, very minor regulatory guidelines. We have to play on a basketball court. We have to have the yard lines on the field. We have to have 3 bases, et cetera, et cetera. But what is this here? Who is this aimed towards? It's aimed toward retail investors to sell his product. He's doing the same fucking thing. Dave Lauer, yes, because nobody questions Dave Lauer. Nobody questions him. He's established credibility. Ironically, how did he establish credibility? It was through Matt Kohrs. Think about that one. That's how he got to the point where the apes trust everything that he says and think that he's on their side. It was because of Matt Kohrs and his interviews with Matt Kohrs. That's true. That's how he established his credibility with this community of retail investors. And now he's capitalizing on it too. He's got to get his piece. And when anyone does question him, which I've never actually seen, because he blocks them. He doesn't want any opposition. He doesn't want his image to be tarnished. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The one thing is right. There is tons of manipulation in this. Tons. But it's not by the people that the apes think it's by. And they don't realize that they are the ones being manipulated. They're manipulating themselves. They're putting themselves in a position to be taken advantage of by a system that always maximizes revenue. Always. Okay, that's...
See where we're getting here? And then discount brokers
so
are under-investing in critical technology systems, resulting in bad data being acted upon because they are not properly incentivized to invest in these systems.
Who would incentivize them to do that?
As he summed up in his Jon Stewart interview, inducements and incentives. Jumping over to the chart here, once again, we close the day at the MACD.
We got to have our play-by-play.
This is just a mild consolidation, and the hedge funds trying to make sure that they don't have to pay out on a lot of these options at the end of the week. Now, despite the fact that they drove that price down, we're still looking at something like 73,244 call options expiring in the money.
What about all these?
4,808 at $26.
Yeah, see, this is the problem with going with the number of options. Oh, wow, we have this number of calls expiring, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, okay, great. But look at the dollar amount. That's absurd. That's absurd. Most of these people have no business being involved in options. They don't. They really don't. And nobody wants to say that. I'll say it. I don't care. Most of these people have no business probably even being in the stock market. But certainly not playing with options, leveraged positions. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. $5 billion here. $5 billion just on the calls on a weekly expiration when the stock is under $30. It's absurd. It's really, really crazy. Sorry. Bad Back said earlier, halts happen all the time. It sucks if you're caught on the wrong end of the halt, no doubt, but it's part of the game. I'm tired of this conspiratorial bullshit apes spit out when shit don't go their way. And yeah, and what you have here is Dave Lauer jumping on that bandwagon, all these people jumping on the bandwagon. Everything is a conspiracy. Everything is they. When really, all you have to do is look at the name of these stocks. Meme. Me. Stole that from Ken Fisher. Credit where credit's due, but it's true. Me. And, but it's all about they, them, you, not me. It's completely backwards.
Million shares, so about half the volume that we had seen before. Relatively slow during power hour. We got off to a pretty significant start, which is why they tried to drop us down so quickly. But once again, we are seeing here that there are very few shares available to borrow. So the problems that we've seen over the last couple of days most likely are going to repeat themselves very soon. And then again, we have the opportunity for 175,890 call options to be pushed back into the money, and then the puts are toast. Nothing here, nothing really to look at. But if we take a closer look at the options,
nothing to look at except
if we drive up to $27, we have a massive amount of
$2 billion in the puts.
That puts about another 11,000. If we go up to 30, we have an even higher amount. If we go to 35, we're pushing like 50 or 60,000, at least 70, 80,000 call options back into the money. So there is a huge opportunity here that we will be seeing some absolutely massive moves. And if we are able to push ourselves up to $35 by tomorrow, chances are we are going to see a massive day. And finishing up with our Ortex update, just to close us out, utilization for the 6th week in a row is at 100%. Cost to borrow has moved up 15.79%. So once again, we have seen massive increases in cost to borrow. Days to cover moved down just a little bit, but we're still higher or closer to 3 than away from 3. Shares on loan, a little bit lower than we've seen in the last couple of days, but higher than last week, 137.28 or 26.64% of the float. And then our short interest is
Vortex play-by-play, awesome. Oops.
What is going on, guys?
Crap, I accidentally hit the numbers. I got a comment in the Telegram from a great one. Say what you will, but all it is a momentum stock needing volume, senseless catalyst, and more volume. GameStop CEO is pretty damn good at this game. When the chips are down, he pumps it like Elon, which in my mind, that's not good. Like that's just not good. I mean, I guess it is if you're long, if you just have a long bias, sure, I guess. But no, that's not. I mean, that's being good at that's being a good CEO. Elon Musk. I mean, yeah, I guess he's rich on his own stock. I feel GME is not in the same league as AMC. They have more violent moves that make it great for buying low, selling high. Anyways, they got a catalyst, and the sheep will follow. The after hours excitement should hit 220 tomorrow, maybe 225, highest 250. I mean, that's great, fine. Who cares though? What difference does it make? First of all, nobody is going to sell. Let me rephrase that. The people that need to sell, the people that they won't. And I think that there's more of these people in AMC than the GameStop. I think GameStop, if you look at the numbers, which I did not do today, so we can do that right now. If you look over here on Fidelity orders, see what we got. So we have more here, more buying and selling on AMC. GameStop, more buying and selling as well. Less overall because GameStop's more expensive. But this was definitely when AMC was at the higher levels the last couple of days. You saw the opposite. You saw more selling than buying. And same on GameStop. So, but anyway, the price is down, so it's back to more buying, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, stocks go up and down. That's what they do. That's why I personally trade stocks and options. I'm more interested in a shorter term profit that I can pull down, I can take it and grab it while it's there You know, there are different styles, obviously, but I just the MOAS thesis is built on falsehoods, misunderstandings, lies, misinformation, uninformed investors. I'm knocking things over here. Another comment here from Great One. If it dumps at open, it's an after hours trap, but it should pop if the volume is there. Based on nonsense. All that's required is manipulation of the sentiment, that and super high volume to keep up a run. Well, yeah, right? No, the fundamentals stink, but the shorts will buy low, 80 to 120. Been watching this for how many years now? $80 is a safe investment. Pre-stock split if your only concern is riding the wave. It hit $80 2 to 3 times in the last 12 months that I can recall. Only difference, this time it didn't bounce. Ryan Cohen bought the 100,000 shares to pump it artificially. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And yes, of course, if there's volume, I don't remember. Let's see. I don't know. I think it was pretty low today. 11 million. So, I mean, that's GameStop. GameStop's always low because of the AMC was 89 million. And you know what's interesting about this is really yeah, so what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the daily chart. So this is AMC. I mean, yeah, the volume is certainly halved. GameStop. Oh, let me go back to AMC also. So this indicator here is volume buying versus selling. So you can see on, what was this, Monday? Mostly buying. That then you get to a day like yesterday, Wednesday. This was like 91% selling on this candle. So on this candle here. And then it was about half and half today. And you can see the momentum line is coming down and the RSI is coming down. And I mean, yeah, we'll see. But and then we have the back is responding here and saying, you're not going to make money unless you sell. Apes hold like idiots. People like us, we will get in and get out, make the money. Ryan Cohen is no Elon, though. Elon is considered by some to be an actual genius, whereas RC is a care and investor is recognized he has a cult that he can take advantage of. And then discussion about Elon's cult and the company and whatnot. So that's over in Telegram. So if you want to pop over there and check that out. But, you know, And I would say, you know, like, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Tesla. I'm not really a Tesla fan. I'm not an Elon Musk fan. I think he's a charlatan by and large. I think he has overpromised and substantially underdelivered on a lot of things. But, and I think that he is absolutely manipulated the stock, at Tesla stock. He's skirted regulations, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, it's, I don't know about Ryan Cohen. I don't know, you know, obviously I would say probably Elon Musk is probably more, you know, more keen businessman, certainly has more experience. And it's not really so much of a comparison, you know, like a pissing contest between Elon Musk and Ryan Cohen. The reality is that you have, you know, you do have, so I'll just read Back's comment on this, because it's Elon, though, has an actual company with substance, overvalued too, maybe, but nonetheless, GameStop is pure momentum. So we have a lot of this kind of stuff going on in the market, which, you know, is pretty annoying to me. But at the end of the day, you know, in order to do these momentum plays, you have to get in and get out. You have to be able to trade actively, and it's not a buy and hold situation. It's an active trading situation. Okay, and even then, most people don't really, most people, you know, you might make some money one time, you might lose money the next time. You're never going to win every time. Very, very, very few people would. So, you know, and the fact is there are much better, quote unquote, plays. There, you know, much better trades, really an infinite number in total, every day going on. But, you know, not every one of those is going to be a sure thing moneymaker, although, you know, with different option strategies, you can profit. But what we're dealing with here is a group of people who've been manipulated. Notice I'm not saying the stock has been manipulated, because the market's going to do what the market is going to do. And one of the first problems here was that the apes were told that they've changed Wall Street, that they've changed the rules, that retail investors now have the power to move the market. And that is a dangerous thing to be told. And it's really an irresponsible thing to be told. And it's no fucking wonder that the media is the one that told that lie. The media said that. And then the ape influencers started parroting the mainstream media, and you know that you have lost when that starts happening. When people start parroting and believing the mainstream media's narrative, propaganda, which, by the way, is put out to maximize revenue, not to make sure everybody's informed. So again, what Dave Lauer's bitching about in his little column there on his website, it permeates all aspects of our society. It does. It permeates all aspects of our system. So I'm glad that Dave Lauer recognizes that. That's good. That's great. But the notion that the retail investors, maybe last year a couple points, the market did get overwhelmed. The market was, I don't want to say taken by surprise or tricked or anything like that, but Victor Jones on Tasty Trade says that these are market mechanics plays, market internals plays, gamma squeeze, things like that. Not fundamental. But the apes are holding, buying and holding as if it were fundamental. And so it's just really confused. It's a really confused narrative at this point. And I don't know. It really, you know, it really would behoove everyone to start thinking like a contrarian. Start saying, okay, the mainstream media was telling us this, or is telling us this now. They're saying this, and don't act on the non-contrarian, or don't act on the contrarian, viewpoint. Just notice, just pay attention, and then go back and think, okay, the media said this. Here's what actually happened. Did it align with that, or was it contrary? And you'll be surprised how many times it's contrary. So this is empirical. This is not, this is stuff that you can see. This is stuff that is demonstrated to us almost every day, and on a variety of levels, and not just with this, but that's really the thing that I think is missing from this. When everybody starts, and they haven't done this lately, but it really had an impact on this community. When people, when they started befriending Charles Payne on Fox News, because they were willing, think about it, Fox News was willing to repeat this garbage narrative. Now, that is fitting. Looking back, how can you not laugh and say, that's so ridiculous? Fox News, they were willing to say it. They were willing to say it. I mean, it's absurd. It's just really absurd. But when you know that when your side starts aligning with media figures on cable news, quote unquote news, this is analogous to the anecdote from the other night on the Wall Street 1929 crash video, where the shoeshine boy gave the professional investor on Wall Street a stock tip when he was shining his shoes, William Gould, and he said, when the shoeshine boy gives you stock tips, it's time to get out. And he did. And then came the crash. This is the same type of thing in my mind. It's the canary in the coal mine. It's the indicator. It's a leading indicator. And this was last year even. So, and then you had CNBC or whoever come out with a documentary, Apes Changing Wall Street or whatever the hell it was. It's absurd. It's absurd. The market's going to do what the market's going to do. It's not your job to change it. It's not your job to, be the unified force that moves it. That's not really how it works. It's not how it works. Retail doesn't have enough capital, especially now that they've given over, just on one option expiration, $6 billion. But, who's counting? I guarantee they are. They are. Let's see here. Verified analyst just proved AMC shot to $34,700 during halt. Well, let's look at this. They're talking about wheat. The other problem is that you guys need to remember is fertilizer. Fertilizers, the prices have shot up. The supply is short, and it's really a problem. So you have a lot of changes kind of happening, or techniques being explored.
We all remember last Tuesday and the halt that happened.
Oh, look, it's Dave Lauer.
GameStop, and we all remember
not here,
how
but
we felt like the pricing data that was being shown to us may have not been very accurate. Some of us got notifications.
No shit,
GameStop
really
went above $500. Some of us saw glitches in our platforms. A lot of us just thought that in general.
No, let me correct you here, Tom. Oh, this is Tom Zazzulo. Wow, he's back. He's back. He's back. He's grifting. Tom Zazzulo's back. Verified analyst. Verified analyst. Verified on Twitter. I think that's what he means. Verified on Twitter. Zazzulo's back. Holy shit. It's a pleasure to bust you, my son. Now, when he says platforms, all this stuff in the plural, he's talking about fucking Robinhood, okay? He's talking about Robinhood because nobody has shown me. If you have it, show me. Just put the link in the chat or in my chat or wherever, or tell me how to find it. I haven't seen any evidence of any anomalies on any other platform except for Robinhood, and only on GameStop, not on AMC. Not on AMC. So I look forward to this proof here. The verified analyst proving. I wonder if he knows the word prove means. Okay.
Pricing for AMC and GameStop was being mismanaged, and that probably we were not seeing the real accurate price of this information.
It was halted. It was halted then. Look, this kid's like 16.
And so today we're going to be talking about this research report from Dave Lauer, who is the CEO of Urban AI. And this is a really interesting research report, and he actually does a deep dive into what actually happened, and he finds that both AMC and GameStop temporarily, for a matter of milliseconds, were trading above 35,000.
They weren't trading there, though. They were not trading there. No trades happened at those prices, Mike. Oh, my God. Like, just the way that these people talk about this is just, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not careful with their language. He's saying it traded at $34,000. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It did not trade there. Otherwise, it would be on the chart. It would show that. All right. I'm going to shut up for a minute.
And so we're going to be taking a look at this here. Now, this particular report is about GameStop. However, he tweeted that AMC went through the same situation here. So let's take a look at this. So basically, to summarize this, these brokerages use a SIP data feed so that they can understand the prices and all have the exact same prices at the exact same time. This is very expensive, and during the halting, most places had their SIP data feeds removed within under 1 millisecond. And then a couple of exchanges took 5 milliseconds, and then ODGX took over 35 milliseconds to actually get the data removed. I'm going to try to find where he quotes that. I can't find it here. Let me Control F it. 35. Oops, that's the wrong. 35. Okay, so yeah, ODGX took another 35 milliseconds to get this data removed. So that's the important thing that we need to realize here. Now, why is this important? This is because during this 35 milliseconds, we had orders continue to flow into the platform while we didn't have the ability for people to necessarily take these orders or sell, because trading was halted, but for 35 additional milliseconds, we still had orders coming into the platform. So we saw GameStop and AMC get orders that were not robotic orders. They were very much meme stock orders, such as 999.69, 1420.69, etc., even up to $69,000, 420.69. Now, this is important because this is an exact, almost dress rehearsal of what is going to happen when the mother of all short squeeze initiates. We will have so much buying, and so little selling proportionately that we are going to be experiencing this exact same situation. And the fact that we reached a $34,000 price in a matter of a few milliseconds is insane, because that means that our proof has a proof of concept. Our theory has a proof of concept here. Now let me explain the mother of all short squeeze for anybody new here. Essentially, there are so many synthetic shares out in the market, and the retail investors of AMC own 90% of the float, while at the same time there are hundreds of millions of potential synthetic shares out in the market for basically AMC and GameStop. These are shares that the crooked institutions such as Citadel have basically pulled out of thin air and sold to the public to make a quick buck. What they didn't anticipate is that they may actually have to cover these shares at some point. So when the time comes where they need to cover millions of these shares that they basically printed and then immediately sold, every share needs to be covered at some point. When that time comes, that's going to cause a short squeeze. When that short squeeze comes, most of the retail investors, the 90% who hold the float, are going to be very reluctant to sell, because they are going to have a precious commodity that these hedge funds need to have. They don't have another option. They have to buy these shares. They have to buy back all of the shares that they printed and sold in order to cover their shorts. When they need to buy back these shares, it could be millions and millions or hundreds of millions of shares from the retail army. These retail investors are going to name their price, pick their price, and they're not going to necessarily be easy on these hedge funds. So a lot of people have said that a $100,000 AMC share price is absolutely insane. It could never happen. But what we just experienced was a $34,000 GameStop price, and we know that AMC followed roughly the same pattern. So this is a proof of concept. This really can happen. Now, if you're wondering why I don't say 69,000, the reason for that is because most brokerages took a middle number between the bid and the ask. So while the bid was $0 because of halting, the ask was 69,420. So in the middle of that, that was where most brokerages were quoting the price. So the bottom line here is that a $100,000 AMC share price is not impossible. We just got a $30,000 price. And I think that people really need to take this in and realize how
what you should have taken in, Tom, was
just had the
in Davy's little analysis here, okay? He said that there shouldn't be a mid price. Didn't you read that part? He's literally quoting the mid price, using that as a justification for his theory. But we saw in the other video with Matt Stoner that Dave Lauer literally said you shouldn't be taking the mid price. So he didn't read this whole thing, or he didn't actually process it in any way. This is Bush League. This is bad. It's it's not impossible, but you know what is impossible? You know it is impossible, right? You can't kill Michael Myers. It's impossible. It is impossible. Take us home, Tom.
Dress rehearsal. Obviously, this is a different situation to the short squeeze. This isn't necessarily a situation where these hedge funds have been purchasing back the shares yet. We still need to wait for that to happen. But the thing I'm trying to cover here is just to show you guys that this is really something that can happen, and in a way it happened in kind of a smaller temporary setting. So thanks very much for watching. If you want to spread this information to more people, maybe some skeptics,
if you want to mislead more people, really that's how misinformation spreads.
Also, that helps me out definitely, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks, Tom. Roll another blunt, man. This is good times right here. That's what I'm talking about.
You full of shit. Full of shit. Full of shit. And you need to quit.
Well.
Baby, you full of shit. Full of shit. Full of shit.
This is my proof of concept. This is my proof of concept right here.
At my show, yelling and screaming on the front row. Jumped on stage, knocked me down. You made me horny. I drug you around. in the van, took you to the tail. On the way there, you was texting on your cell. You jumped out the van before I got the room.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
In the movie theater. You can't kill Michael Myers! It's impossible! But what you can do is buy AMC stock. Millions coming, baby. AMC stock. You want to be a millionaire? AMC, I'm an ape. They call me the ape father, baby. You can't kill Michael Myers, but you can become a multi-millionaire, baby. AMC in the house. Wow! I'm gonna scare everybody in the movie theater.
You got a real bad temper. I got another woman that wants to out of sight, out of mind, sipping wine someplace.
That one will never,
You're too controlling.
never not be classic. That is an instant classic.
You're a woman, but you think you're an alpha.
Oh, I'm sorry about the dog.
Bleeding like hell, begging the cops to take me to jail. Inconsiderate, selfish.
Ay, ay, ay.
I smell fish. You talk too much to everybody. So flirtatious, so naughty. How can you be jealous on Facebook, keeping up with your ex-fellas? You full of shit.
The lyrics to this song are actually really good. The more I've used this song, it's actually a good song. It's actually a good tune. And it's obviously talking about like his lady friend, but I hope someday I get to meet Afro Man and talk to him about this. It'll never happen. It's impossible. But yeah, has been took. Getting famous. I mean, see, so many of these lyrics are like directly applicable to this. Oh, 136. Wow. We're rising.
Don't provoke me, I might choke thee. Roll thee up and smoke thee.
You're so annoying.
My career, you're destroying. You're such an envelope.
Let's see.
Such a gossip good.
Peter Vigna. He doesn't stop with the. He just doesn't. He can't stop with the comments. I'm just an AMC boy, and I'm trying to make it, but the synthetic shorts are always. Naked Island boy hates manipulation. Maybe it's a bot. I don't know. It's too specific though to be a bot. I like that. Naked Island boy. Naked Island boy. I don't know about this one here. That's a no. That's a no on that. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out my live stream. Appreciate it. Let's check out the analytics real quick. See, I'm transparent. I show the analytics on stream, on the videos. That this is good. Last 28 days. I want to go last 7 days because something happened in the last 7 days. And no, I did not buy subscribers from India. Okay, that's down, but this is up. Watch time is up. Subscribers up. Greater than 999% more than previous 7 days. That's cool. That's good. That's good. I don't know why the impressions are down. That's weird. People are finding this through YouTube search. That's good. That means my search optimization is working. That's probably why all this. That's probably what changed in the last 7 days. Lynn here, Railvin in the chat, she gave me a primer on SEO, and we made some changes, and yeah, it's. Look at this, Bing. Why am I getting so many hits from Bing? That's weird. Reddit. Who's posting my shit on Reddit? That makes me nervous. I don't even want to know what they're saying about it over there on Reddit. Watch time is up. That's good. Average view duration, that should be higher. I mean, over the last 7 days, it's twice as much. That's good. And the old audience. This one will never not amaze me. 100% male audience. It's like, I don't even know what other topics get 100% male engagement besides like stocks, or particularly MOAS. I don't even know. Flags, like flags of the world. I don't know. I'm not quite sure I trust this, because we have at least one person with a vagina in the chat. That's an inside joke. That's not me being fresh. But yeah, so I appreciate all you guys hanging out, checking it out. If you haven't already, and you feel so inclined, that's very important that you want to do this. But if you do, hit the like button if you feel so inclined. That also helps with the numbers. So good, awesome. All right, I got to get to bed. Got to work in the morning. So catch you guys later. Thanks a lot. We'll see you here. See you around. Join the Telegram chat. Links down in the description for that too.